Voilà. Le son du jeu est fort. On verra bien. Bon, alors on avait fait plein de choses, on avait eu 2 fins différentes. C'était bien, le jeu était trop bien. Il faudra peut-être que je mette les hologrammes un peu plus transparents dans le dernier follow. Quoique ce... Ah non, en vrai, dès qu'il y a du jeu, ça va. Bon, fallait qu'on aille parler à Hadès, Pluton, slash Osiris. Là, j'ai oublié le nom de la version sumérienne. Mais faut lui parler en tout cas. Hein. Alors attends, j'affiche ça pour voir, voilà. Comme ça, s'il y a des bots, je les dégage. Jure. Alors, on avait la lampe torche. On avait l'arc. Et c'est déjà bien. On avait l'arc en or, surtout. Ça servait à faire plein de trucs. On avait fait les élections, on avait fait plein de trucs, on avait ouvert la... On avait la clé pour ouvrir ici, qui nous mène à une des fins. Ah oui, ça on lui dit de sauver tout le monde dès le début à l'autre. Il s'est illuminé celui-là. Avec la mission, on voit les 4... ok. Bonjour, bonjour. Ah, tu les vois te regarder, là, cette fois. Ah. Au revoir, au revoir. Hein. Oula, petit temps de chargement. Merci le SSD. Prononcer son nom. Ah, lequel? Quelle version? Ah, c'est Nergal, le dernier. D'accord, faut prononcer le plus récent. Ok, du coup là on fait Hades. Ah, punaise, oui, d'accord. Là c'était tout doré, tout des belles colonnes, tout brillant, c'est les Romains. Là c'est les colonnes grecques. Du coup c'est des Grecs. Là c'est les Égyptiens. Osiris. Et là c'est les... Hop là. Là c'est les Sumériens. C'est malin, c'est malin. Ou c'est Nergal. Pourquoi ça marche pas? Oui bon. Je suis pas content là. Faut que je redémarre mon... T'es sérieux là? Je redémarre le stream deck. Si j'ai pas accès à mes petites vidéos et mes petites conneries là, ça va pas le faire. Oh, faudrait que je redémarre OBS là? Eh ben tant pis. Je voulais lancer le gros zoom sur ma tête. Attends. 2 secondes. Il va y avoir un cut. Mais attends. Si je vais sur le stream deck, ça. Stream deck, Frimousse. What? Hein? Il se passe quoi là? Pourquoi il me charge ça lui? Ah! Hmm. Attends. Je le refais à ta place. Voilà. chiant que ça marche pas, ça, attends. Comment ça se fait? Parce que là, il me charge. Du professionnel. Du félicitations. La soundboard, est-ce qu'elle marche? Ok, donc c'est juste le lien OBS. C'est le lien entre OBS et le Stream Deck qui est pété, quoi. Eh ben tant pis, désolé. Faudrait que je redémarre OBS, mais bah, j'ai la flemme en fait. Par contre... Quoi? Ah ouais. Putain, mais je savais pas qu'on était dans Mass Effect en fait.
And here you are. Allow me to introduce myself. As you have already gathered, I've been known by many names. Nergal to the Sumerians, Osiris to the Egyptians, Hades to the Greeks, and Pluto to the Romans. But the one constant through it all has been my title, God of the Underworld. And I've been watching you with curiosity, mortal. And what is more, you carry a weapon that was never intended for more, but there will be time for your reckoning later. First, as a reward for undoing the desecration of my obelisk, I will allow... My story is many thousands of years long. You will need to... It is a matter of perspective. God is a label I was given by you mortals. Your ancestors revered me because to them, my knowledge and technology made me incomprehensible. But despite all that, there are rules even...
Oh, peut-être que je me bouge la cam, bon c'est pas très grave. Quoique non, là au moins elle gêne pas les sous-titres.
My kin and I all adopted this form long ago, so that we might better understand it. In time, we grew fond of the sensory delights it affords. Desire, joy, ecstasy, even rage and sorrow. No. Long ago I swore to Persephone that I would remain in this form for... This is my beloved. Like me, she has been known by many names. Ereshkigal to the Sumerians, Isis to the... Or perhaps you might know her as the goddess of spring. Your gaze lingers too long. That is my servant. You would have met by the river, though she wears many faces. Kumutabal to the Sumerians, Kirti to the Egyptians, Charon to the Greeks, and Charon to the Romans. Her role is to ferry souls between the mortal world and this one, and to make their transition as seamless. For that, she earned herself the infamous, if erroneous, moniker. You will talk more later. For now, as you... It has come to be known simply as the Underworld, and it exists because of a way... That is a long
Bon bah les enfers ça existe parce qu'il a fait une partie de poker là.
3,000 years ago and continue. You see, long ago my kin and I set out from our home on Elysium. We discovered your planet and witnessed your kind evolving from primates into something lawless and barbaric. You all but destroyed yourselves. Your too short life. Yet Persephone saw raw potential in you and persuaded them. So we revealed ourselves to your people in a place called Sumer. We offered guidance in agriculture, toolcraft, and law. And for a time you flourished, but soon you were too many for us to oversee. And as you spread from that cradle of civilization, we had sown the seeds of dependency and confusion. And soon you returned to your old ways of violence. My kin had seen enough and gave up on you, condemning you as barbaric. And we began preparations to return to Elysium, our home world, a utopia. But my Persephone could not bear to abandon your kind without guidance. She made an extraordinary sacrifice. She gave up her immortality, and so she began her inescapable. Horrified, I acted swiftly. I placed her in suspended animation in a deep frozen sleep. And then I pleaded with Proserpina's father, who the Romans called Jupiter. It was and is my hope at once there. But he refused.
Et
I
c'est
did everything I could to persuade him, but he would not.
c'est genre du kidnapping, genre juste il respecte pas son choix.
Rigidly uphold his final pronouncement. Humans were unworthy of ascension to Elysium, and no exceptions would be made. But seeing that I was aggrieved, he proposed a wager, the terms of which were as follows. If even one human city could prove itself capable of living without sin, then Proserpina and all of humanity my part would be to remain behind, the last of my kind. And so my reward has been to languish here, enduring a 3,000-year winter, so that I might take her with me to Elysium. And here I am, after.
D'accord, donc c'est des Hittites qui sont venus et ils ont dit bah en fait les humains ils sont pourris, sauf qu'il y en a une qui les a appréciés. Du coup lui bah comme il l'aime, il est obligé de rester là parce qu'il peut pas la ramener quoi. Je résume très grossièrement mais...
There were also gods who, like me, have been known by many names. But perhaps you knew that our leader Jupiter, as well as Neptune, Saturn, and of course, as the first wave of your kind arrived from Sumer, I had them build a city and I had them build the entrance as a vertical shaft leading to baths to cleanse them of the sins of their former lives and to prevent escape. I watched wave after wave of Sumerians arrive, and as their civilization, of course, believing themselves to be the superior civilization, the Egyptians promptly built over. After another 1,000 years, the Greeks began to arrive, and then the Romans. They built upon the underworlds of their predecessors, renamed their god. To ensure the wager was fair, it was important that my subjects were chosen. To this end, I had my servant distribute 1,000 tokens fashioned from silver, a rare element. Whoever died while in possession of one of them would be located by my servant. And as the tokens were discovered, they were traded, smelted, and fashioned into trinkets. And later, when they spread to Greece, they would come to be known as charons. Some placed coins in the mouths of their dead, hoping they would awaken here, though they had no way of... In fact, almost all of the tokens are accounted for. Only 2 remain. And so after, your kind will have squandered the last of its potential to ascend beyond this rock.
D'accord. Donc j'imagine que la troisième fin, c'est celle où tu lui demandes d'annuler la règle. Et la quatrième, c'est celle où t'empêches totalement un péché pendant 1 an et du coup toute la civilisation humaine s'élève.
It is a regrettable story. One of the first men who came to this place was a king of Sumer, a troublemaker. To be rid of him, I returned him to his people, on the condition that my servant... But the erasure did not take completely, and he told... His tales were committed to writing, which came to be known as the Epic of Gilgamesh. And his later, the Egyptians would adapt Sumer's stories of the underworld, making them wildly intricate. Their Book of the Dead and Book of Gates bore less and less resemblance to this place, in their priests' pursuit of profit. Then, when the Greeks began to arrive, they proved far more cunning. A warrior named Heracles, 2 kings named Sisyphus and Theseus, a poet named Orpheus. They each told embellished tales of this place. And so from Sumer to Egypt, Greece to Rome, your kind has always told each other stories about this place, though each story contained... Of course.
D'accord.
That is merely the name your people have given. That is a story dating back to the very first wave. After the Sumerian... Now this man was unmarried, and many women were vying to become his wife. Prestigious position of power and influence. Of all the women, 2 were particularly ambitious. Both were beautiful, their hair woven in elaborate fashion. The first woman draped herself in jewelry, ornate necklace. Seeing this ostentatious display, the second woman, she prayed aloud to any gods that would listen to cover her in gold. And when her prayer went unanswered, while the others indulged at the banquet, the second woman summoned the... She checked that nobody was watching, and pushed her rival from the top of the ziggurat where she broke, but I was watching, and I decided to answer her prayer. I took the golden bow left behind by Diana. I shot that woman in the heart, and I left her to stand there, that she might serve as a grim reminder of what befalls those
Je me demande s'il y a moyen de voir la première statue. Ah, c'est peut-être celle qui est...
That was not enough, for the entire city was tainted by her sin, and the wager could no longer
Ah
be.
bah non, c'est une sumérienne du coup, elle
So I
est
had
tout en bas
no
en fait.
choice but to wipe the slate clean. I gilded them all to make way for a new wave, and began the wager again. And to this day, each of them, and all that came after, lie suspended in time with only their sight and hearing preserved, so they may bear witness to and lament the folly of your kind for eternity.
Ah donc ils entendent tout en permanence les statues. Oh l'enfer.
I give your kind a second chance at life, as well as ample warning about my law. And when you disobey, and you always disobey, and so you ask, if I am the one destroying, you destroy yourselves. I am merely...
Ouais.
When my kin departed, they left behind many relics, which I inherited. The golden bow originally belonged to one of my kin. As my collection of golden statues grew, I chose the most ferocious among them, and equipped and tasked them with hunting down the Forsaken at my behest. I've always considered that the cornerstone of morality is the ability to determine right from wrong on one's own. No attempt to lay out rules like your Code of Hammurabi. This should come as no surprise to you, since the core principle is the Egyptians made a rudimentary attempt with do to the doer. The Greeks refined it with avoid doing what the Roman Stoics added, treat your inferior. Even the so-called cultists hiding among you often say, it is the simplest of concepts, and each one of you is born with the faculty, yet none of the peoples who expressed this rule were able.
Ouf.
Enough. You clearly. I've... It's yet... I'm able to commune with all of the statues in the city. If she was still conscious, I suppose she could, but she... Then what an odd question.
Oui, l'enfer, il y a ceux où sont... Ah, malin.
Do you plan to speak in sweeping generalizations, or are you going to give me... The merchant. How is that inconsistent? I disagree. Having watched this merchant, that is precisely what he would expect from others. Supposing you're right, then my law has been broken. Then your desire to be... You will make... How dare you threaten her? The many shall suffer for the sins of the one.
Ah, j'ai sa couronne. Et je fais quoi maintenant? Je cours? Je cours. Wouh! Droite gauche comme sur CS. Wouhou! Waha! Tac 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 tac. Aïe! Tac 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 tac. Hop, on esquive. Hop, esquive. Hop, hop. Temps de chargement. Aïe! Et merde. Ah mais la physique elle est... je suis plus habitué à la physique moi. J'ai glissé chef. Oh putain. Bon, on va se retaper toute la discussion en accéléré, hein. Wouhou. Waha. Hihi. Blablabla. Quelle est votre histoire? Blablabla. Vous êtes un dieu? Blablabla.
As, as you,
Allez, E.T., on se dépêche, je sais pas que ça à faire.
of that, when my
Merde.
It,
Attends. Ok.
that, you,
L'enlèvement, les expériences sur les statues d'or, les servitudes pour dette. On va mettre celui-là, tiens.
speak of the moneylender. How is that inconsistent? And he would never have signed. Ignoring your irritating sense of moral superiority. This is... I see. And how long might... I fail to see how your system of loans is significantly... Supposing you're... Then you're just... You will... How...
The many shall suffer for the sins of the one.
J'ai la couronne. Aïe. Wouhou. Tac 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 tac. Deuxième tentative. Gilias qui, comme à son habitude, choisit la violence. Oh, ça va, hein. De toute façon, on peut tout... On peut remonter le temps. Mais en plus, comment ça, comme à mon habitude? C'est pas comme si je faisais que ça, la violence. Non mais oh. Oh bonjour. Allez Sentus, bouge tes fesses. Allez, je suis trop bas. Allez hop hop hop. Bon, on va retourner lui parler, cette fois on va lui montrer la couronne. On va lui dire coucou, la couronne de ta femme. Je sais pas ce que ça fait, mais... J'ai failli sauter dans le vide là. Ah, je suis lui passé en troisième personne. L'habitude de Starfield là en ce moment. Petit coup de molette. Du coup on est face à des E.T. Des E.T. qui vivent très vieux et qui ont des pouvoirs. Basiquement. Merci le SSD. Du coup on disait hop là Pluton. Hades. Osiris. Nergal.
And here you allow me to introduce Nergal to this, and what they will first. I would recognize that anywhere, and yet you vile You have put me in an impossible position.
C'est paradoxe.
If I refuse, you will murder her. And yet, if I agree, I will lose my wager and return to Elysium humiliated and alone. Perhaps you are cleverer than you appear, mortal. I do not see that I have a choice in this. Your treachery and savagery have opened my eyes like nothing, and now you have shown me your species' true color. This has gone on too long. It is time for me to let go of this form of her. But know this, if I abandon the wager and leave, because despicable creatures like you have no the best I can do is return it. I will have Charon make arrangements to ferry the others. Once this exodus begins, the events that wrought what will become of you is difficult to predict. But that is that now, you had best pray our paths.
Bon, troisième fin. Une demi-heure. Allez, on a retrouvé Hal. Passage. Devant les ruines du...
Oh.
Du coup.
Hi there. Gave me a bit of a fright. Well, here I am. I'm sorry. Know who you are. Oh, did that lady in the forest send you in here after me? I guess I'm fairly certain you and I are the first people to set foot in this city. Fortunately for us, the last person in here was a Roman man named Galerius, who inscribed an account into a tablet. Apparently, there was a community of 20-something people trapped in. They believed that if even one person sinned, then one day, just as Galerius had finished, an oracle appeared and told him how to saving the life of a dying woman, foiling an assassin, and so on. And the doors just... Nobody knows what went on in there, but Galerius wrote the oracle must have been more persuasive than Odysseus, because the next thing he knew, the ground shook, and the voice of that... Unfortunately, Galerius' account just sort of stops after that. What became of him? And the other... And did this mysterious oracle single-handedly undo the curse that had... I don't know, it reads like an... Anyway, I think I found a way out through the aqueduct that... I'm gonna pause here for a moment and make sure... You go on ahead.
Ça, c'est à peu près c'est à peu près la fin qu'on a eu du coup l'autre fois. Hein. Sauf qu'il y a eu tout l'aspect discussion avec Kitty.
You're back! But... Oh, what a relief. Why don't you tell me what you discovered?
Ah, I see. I thought you might. Well, now you know. I suppose you have questions. You can
Bon, du
just
coup, ça, elle me
call
l'avait déjà dit, hein.
that most people find comfort. That you died of
Ça,
my
en mémoire, oui, ça me l'avait dit.
Most so ask yourself, as you were falsely accused of a terrible crime on your final night. Unfortunately, your host, you both fought bravely, but there was nothing he did that man. You were each in possession. It means there is nobody else to ferry here. Nobody to keep you company.
Yep.
Perhaps you have heard the tales of the Greeks and Romans burying their dead with a coin in them. Well, those stories contain... A long time ago,
Ça, on le savait
my
aussi, du
orders
coup.
were simple. It means there is nobody...
Ça, tu l'as déjà dit encore une fois. Il y a 2 secondes en plus.
I see
Ça, elle va
no
nous dire
point
oui.
in keeping you here.
C'est une gratte.
But I have to ask one thing. That you keep this to yourself.
Look! Here comes Al now. Al! It's so good to see you.
Kinda lost track of time in there. You wouldn't... And there was a tablet describing an oracle who...
Sounds like quite a story. You two look exhausted. Why don't you hop in my boat and rest while I...
Sounds good to me.
And you?
Fin numéro 3. Et la 4, visiblement, c'est plus long. Ah, un an plus tard. C'est nouveau, ça.
Hey, you made it. It's great to see you again. I read about your trial in the news. Congratulations on your acquittal. Still, I'm sorry you had to go through all that.
Ah merde, c'est un peu de la merde.
After everything you've been through,
Tant pis.
I thought you might appreciate some good news. So after we got back to the real world, I started doing some research into the people mentioned in... I'm sorry I've been so cryptic. I've been dying to tell you, Why don't you head on down there?
Petit musée de la Grèce antique, là, ou romaine. Là, la Rome antique. Oh, Galerius.
You're finally here. Remember me? It's a crazy story. After you disappeared, Karen appeared and told us she was returning us to the world. Even gave us some coins to help us start our lives over. Only, for some reason, she returned us to you. Anyway, I know we only ever had that one conversation, and I wanted to say thanks for freeing us from the underworld and giving us a second. Oh, I used Karen's gift to buy a farm in Umbria. Got a villa on it too, with enough room for Dooley, of course. It's hard work, but I sleep soundly every night. I'm finally my own man, and
Le rêve américain.
I know! I can't believe my luck either. But we're planning to get married next spring. If you're gonna be around...
Bah,
I know!
d'accord.
Of course, there's a whole museum full of people waiting for a chance to thank you. So you better keep moving.
Ouais. Rassembler le plus de personnes possible au musée.
It's you.
Et Kitia.
You're here. It's lovely to finally... So, you're the hero who somehow vanquished the
is.
last of the Roman gods. I'm just teasing. Actually, and it still feels a little sacrilegious. Galerius and I are engaged and expecting. We've just bought a lovely villa in the... It feels like the world has just opened up for us. There's so much to... We're just so thankful for what you did. Oh, it's sweet of you to ask. She recovered nicely.
Donc on a réussi à sauver tout le monde. Incroyable ça.
See you at the wedding.
Parce que j'ai eu le petit succès. Dooley. Ah oui, c'était le, ouais, c'était le début.
Dooley. Galerius said you're very nice and a big helper. Thank you. I live at Galerius and... Treasure? Oh, I forgot about that. I like my... Bye-bye.
Bon, pour l'instant tout va bien. Oula, le militaire.
Hey.
Bah évidemment.
Hi there, I'm Horatius. I understand we have you to thank for giving us a second chance at life. I'm living up north and studying in the military academy in Modena. The world's changed a lot, but some things stay the same. Would you believe we're still... I have to keep challenging myself to let go of all the ones who pioneered our paths. Oh. Ah, you remembered that. Thank you. In the words of Epictetus, as those who rode behind, remind yourself your precious one isn't... Thanks. He's not my... Oh, I see what you did there. Good one. He had more trouble adapting them. He got himself disqualified from the UFC. So he started some kind of underground blood sport tournament.
Du MMA lui là.
Suppose it appealed to people's baser instincts. And they say he made some good coin, killing a bunch of... But his luck finally ran out. And his life along with it. You're not wrong. And you.
Ah, les deux sœurs, du coup.
You're... Oh, of course, sorry. And I never got a chance to thank... And of course, getting... Oh, I barely... I'm living in a house share in London with my wonderful girlfriend. And eventually I want to travel the world and write about it. Turns out, did you know there are entire continents Rome never... And you can travel almost anywhere in an aircraft, which is rather like flying on a Pegasus. Oh, sorry, you already know all that, of course. I'm just...
Hi there.
I have noticed people from your time have no idea how fortunate...
On note qu'il n'y en a aucun qui est devenu SDF et qui galère. Hein.
Last I heard, Malleolus kept insisting he was the last rightful ruler of the Roman Empire.
J'ai rien
and
dit.
wound up being committed to a psychiatric. As for Claudia, she was always so viciously unhappy. Someone said she'd blown all her money on wine. After the horrific way they treated Ulpius and me, I can't help feeling a sense of... What's that German word? Schadenfreude?
Tu disais. Alors j'ai aucune idée de ce que ça veut dire ça.
I couldn't agree more. Ugh. Someone told me she was boasting about getting her claws in. Even in your time, life still isn't fair. Apparently he'd proposed before they'd even met. And last I heard, she'd bought herself a first-class one-way ticket to join him in some
laquelle déjà,
exotic
Aurélia?
place called... What was... Nigeria? Really? Huh.
Ah oui, d'accord, ok, ouais. Ah ouais, elle va avoir une surprise en allant au Nigeria, ouais.
You too. If you're ever in London, let me know. We can go to bars and drink wine and listen to the stories of the 9 million people who live there. I hope so.
You are here. It's nice to finally meet you. Lucy is fine. I'm making an effort to be. If the world knew we died 2,000 years ago and were suddenly brought back to life, speaking of which, I wanted to say thank you in person. I'd say the gods. I'm studying to get into medical school. As much as I resented the responsibility, when it ended, I realized I missed it. So I guess
Elle a découvert une vocation. Il avait besoin de 10 balles, elle devenait riche, le bon plan, bah ouais. Qui répondrait pas, hein.
Don't be a stranger.
I take it you're the Oracle. Thanks for coming.
Donc la grande sœur, du coup.
Actually, I changed my name to Cynthia. I didn't want to be associated. I'm not sure if you heard, but after you drove Pluto off, she knew right away what none of us had figured out about that psychopath. He'd been keeping my little sister locked up in the but he's been dealt with. He's... you know what? The important thing is, we'll never... Anything I want. I'm a woman of means in a vast new world. I can go wherever and do... Of course, I mostly just stay in my villa and have my servant Alexa summon things for
Oui,
me.
carrément.
Because it's just awful out there. He's still there, all alone. The last golden statue in the underworld. Trapped in a metal shell. Eternal torment.
Ça, on connaît ça,
Just
le
what he
supplice
deserves,
des
if you
corbeaux.
ask me.
Les barbares sont partout MDR.
Then I suppose. You too.
Un plaisir, bon.
Evening.
C'est parce que le jeu il nous laisse pas le choix de dire ça, quoi. Bon, on a qui ensuite? Jordius, Fabia, philosophe, ermite. Ah oui, le vieux. Incroyable.
Hello.
Greetings. You must be the legendary oracle. It is a... I am told we have you to thank... I am reacquainting myself with Greece.
Il est rentré à la maison, lui.
So much over the last 2,000 years, I bet perhaps one day, once I have seen all of this new Greece and sampled her delights, I will settle down. I hope you will join me there and regale me with the story of how you failed.
Carrément.
You too, my friend.
You're the one we've been waiting. I wanted to say thanks for sending Galerius to save my life. I don't know how you knew, but I would have been crushed by that. I'm just so happy to be here. Well, it's not like I have to work with all the silver Charon gave me, so I just do what makes... Mostly that means baking for my friends and looking at memes while binging TV shows in yoga pants. Thank you.
Et le vieil ermite. Dans son ancien lit. Devant son
I take it
ancien
you're
lit.
the oracle everybody's talking. We have. I'm sorry. I never thought
C'est
I'd leave
Philippe
that
son nom.
cave, let alone the city. And now I'm living in the 21st century, and it seems I have your catabasis to thank for it. I'm working as a consultant to the Faculty of Classics at Cambridge University, helping... Not that I need the money, but I do love being around enlightened minds again. My sincere thanks.
On peut pas s'empêcher de philosopher celui-là, du coup. Mon ancien lit. Je trouve ça rigolo. Oula.
Some soirée, innit?
Oh non, pas lui, à l'aide. On
Good
va en parler
evening.
aux autres. Hein. Octavia.
Oh,
C'était
hello.
c'était celle qui
Lovely
était
to meet
devenue
you.
folle, non,
I've
Octavia?
heard so much about you. I'm thankful that you're here. I was sure the person who drove off the last pagan... But thank you for coming and for saving our lives. What you
Ouais,
did
sans gêne.
was extraordinary, and I'm living in Rome again, in a charming little flat by the Tiber. After you sent Galerius to persuade Ulpius not to take his own life, I was inspired. I just want to spend the rest
Ah non,
of
oui,
my
non,
life
d'accord,
helping.
pardon. Octavia, c'est celle qui était
Like
en
you
haut
helped
devant
them.
le temple.
Thank you. That means it. And you. Oh, and I hope this isn't
On va
wonderful.
boire un verre avec tout le monde, là, ça va être la grosse fiesta.
Greetings.
Ah, c'est elle, ouais.
Thank you for your kind words and for liberating us all. In all the time... I'm recovering. Octavia was kind enough to let me stay with her for... Ah, you remember that. I'm a little tired of Ovid. I'm already up to the 19th century, and am quite enjoying the work of a fellow named... Men have called me mad, but the question is not yet... And you...
Bon, toi, là.
Ah, hello at last. Listen, I wanted to express my sincere appreciation for what you did. If it wasn't for you, whatever you did in that temple made me a very... Such acerbic... I took the money I made from selling my trinkets and started investing in the stock. In fact, I was hoping to ask
C'est
you
devenu un
advice,
trader.
you being the oracle and future seer and all that, on which stocks I should invest in next. I can't decide between fossil fuels, tobacco, gambling and arms. What would you recommend? Oh, don't be like that. You can tell your old pal Dacius. Oh, of course, yeah. I was just thinking the same thing. I'll go home and buy up a... Of course, don't let me keep you.
Oui, c'est la Cato, oui, c'est ça. Ah merde, j'ai save, j'aurais peut-être pas dû. Kabash. Qu'est-ce qu'il est
It
devenu?
is an honor to finally meet you, Oracle. You know... Oh, of course. I too would like to offer my thanks for releasing us from that place, and for your role. For a time, I returned to Alexandria, but they have no need of it. Instead, I have decided to follow the custom of your youths and backpack the world. I spent the first 25 years of my life avoiding the 42 sins that would deny me. Indeed. Thank you.
Qui est parti avant... Il est devenu aventurier, il est parti découvrir le monde. Ah, eux ils sont ensemble du coup.
Nice to meet you. I go by Rufus now. New start for what you did. Sorry, I'm no good with the mushy stuff.
En Égypte, il va pas être bien accueilli. Je sais pas.
Good to know. Anyway, it was good practice for the new. I live with Virgil in Rotterdam, not far from where he grew up. It's very... haven't decided.
Okay.
You too. Look us up next time you're in the Netherlands.
It's so nice to finally meet you. I wanted to thank you personally for getting us out and for helping Rufus come to terms with himself. He may come up.
Ah oui, oui, c'est vrai qu'ils ont un peu changé de religion depuis.
I'm studying to be an architect again and living with Rufus in our beautiful flat in Rotterdam, just down the river from Nijmegen. Of course, it's improved immensely since I was there last. Gleaming futuristic buildings and clean streets, full of educated, accepting you natives of the 21st century have.
Ouais, alors ça dépend où tu vas, ça. Hein.
Said in his own laconic way, if you're ever in the Netherlands,
va pas sur Twitter, la tolérance ils connaissent pas trop.
It's the least we could do.
Tout le monde veut boire un coup avec moi.
Hello there.
Cynthia, du coup.
Oh, I go by Gabriella now. I didn't want to be reminded of that monster every time I heard my own name. After you drove Pluto off, Proserpina came. Don't worry.
Merde, j'aurais dû mettre l'autre, c'est pas grave.
I'm living with Ulpius on a little vineyard in Umbria. It's even more I'm so grateful to you for making sure he's still with us. You can try.
Allez, de la binouse.
Thanks.
Du vin, de la vinasse.
It's nice to finally put a face to the name.
Du coup, lui, c'est celui qui tentait de se suicider, du coup.
I understand I have you to thank for sending Galerius. The way you just showed up out of the blue. I'm living with Gabriella in Umbria. We finally bought the little vineyard we always dreamed of. It'll be every day I look at her and this extraordinary new world with all its beauty. So we're living each day to the fullest, sitting together on our terrace with a glass of our wine. And I thank you. You too.
Et on a vu tout le monde? Il y avait quelqu'un au bout, mais...
There you are.
Ah, c'est Al.
I hope you enjoyed that. Now, there's one more person I wanted...
Sorry if I frightened you. Just a little joke I fancy. Allow me to introduce myself. I am Proserpina, former goddess of the cycle of life and renewal. I wanted to meet you in person, and thank you for freeing all these people. I hate to think what would have happened to us without your... Indeed. Suffice it to say that while Pluto was controlling the eyes and ears of each golden statue, I was able to control their tongues, and I am sorry my messages were so cryptic. They were only ever brief. I did. I may have given up my immortality, but I still retain my gifts as the goddess of us. After witnessing Pluto punish countless poor souls over thousands of years, I knew this generation, the final wave, would not survive, so I tried to give them a way to buy more time. A second chance. Rather, as many second chances as... So I whispered to Sentius in secret, telling him the prayer... I knew the danger of humans being corrupted by godly power. I required the creator of the portal to sacrifice their own life, so that it could only... What I did not anticipate is that Sentius would retain his accumulated memories from each previous day, and as a veteran soldier he had long since shed his fear of death. He quickly discovered that he could, in effect, prolong his own life indefinitely by exploiting the cycle. Of course, once I had taught him the prayer, I could not unteach him, and there was little I could do but wait for someone like you to come along and see him for what he was. We were all fortunate you came along when you did. I don't know what happened to him. I haven't heard from him, and I rather hope it stays that way. Oh, she inherited dominion over the underworld. Last time we spoke, she wouldn't say what it was, but I'd be surprised. And you? although it feels... Oh, and one last thing. Do you remember all those good? Because they remember you. Well done, my friend. Of all the heroes who ever journeyed to the underworld,
D'accord, ça c'est...
none came close to achieving what you did. Hercules, Orpheus, Theseus, and Aeneas would be proud.
Du coup, ça c'est toutes les petites statues. On a eu l'ending 4. Et ben du coup, il nous manque la 3. Problème. Bon, on a eu la meilleure fin. C'est très bien. La 3, c'est quoi? C'est... Faut aller voir le... Ah, peut-être si on lui tire une flèche dessus. Ah non, il est immortel, je suis con. Non, Ouais. Super. Ok, on a une sauvegarde auto. Au grand temple. Du coup, si je veux la 3e fin...
If I refuse, you will murder her.
Et merde.
Enough.
Faut que je charge une autre sauvegarde plutôt. Du coup, attends, si je fais un truc là, que je vais lui parler à nouveau, mais... Je n'ai aucune question.
Only, it has long been within my power to see into the hearts of... When I peer into you, I see only a blank. Charon, where did you find...
I do not remember ferrying. If that is true...
How did you come to be in this time, Morris?
I cannot know.
Ah.
I do not know. My kin depart. Tread light. Enough of this. It seems I will need to put your wreck. Why have you come here? If you anger me or waste my time, so tell me. How so? And be specific. You have made a... He is a volatile and confused. True. I admit, I have grown disturbed watching. His cruelty does seem to grow greater by the day. If you're right, but if I were to accept that, are you telling me these humans could... You are either deluded or a liar. You will make a fun... The many shall suffer for the sins of the one.
Ah ouais. Allez, on recommence cette discussion. Tac, 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 tac.
And here. Go. You would have us believe.
If that is true.
How did you come to...
That would explain why you first appeared in her shrine. You would have me believe that all this time, then she has chosen you will make a...
D'accord.
The many shall suffer for the sins of the one.
Eh merde. Je vais faire une sauvegarde rapide, comme ça sera tout en haut dans la liste. Quel choix j'ai pas fait? Il faudra lui dire je viens du futur. Voilà, là il est pas content. Je dois abroger la règle d'or. Ça corrompt. Je lui dis ça. Ah voilà.
And how it... So you say, and yet your world is... You have spoken eloquently, and yet, if what you say is true, but that would mean Jupiter, Proserpina's father, who knew more about you than anyone, proposed...
Oh.
Perhaps, but if that was so, surely I would have sensed his deception. Your word, as difficult as this is to admit, I've been so fixated on taking my beloved to Elysium that every time one of you sin, in time I began to despise your kind for making her believe that you could ever... But my rage was not born of malice, quite the opposite. Who knew this empathy of yours? But you... This has gone on too long. It is time, but know this. If I abandon the way... Because it is not up to what now.
Ouais, du coup c'est ouais. 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 Mais non, mais merde. Peut-être qu'il faut que je... Peut-être que une des fins c'est de sauver tout le monde, mais genre passer par les canalisations, mais c'est bizarre. Enfin c'est... Attends, déjà je vais dire, je n'ai aucune question, je vais pas lui demander d'abroger la règle d'or. Je viens du futur, je sais pas tout ce qui se passe. Je vais m'en aller.
Surely you did not think you know far too much now. You will remain here as my servant. You know far too much. You will remain here as my The many shall suffer for the sins of the one.
Bah du coup demi-tour. Comment je fais la troisième ferme du coup?
Salve, friend. Welcome to life under the golden rule.
Ouais,
Not a good time, friend.
A treatment? Really? Thank God. Finally, some relief after all this time. Thank you, Galerius. You're a good man. And I'll be sure to leave Virgil alone. I know I haven't been at my best lately.
Appreciate that. Now, I've got to run.
T'as fini? Où est-ce qu'il va là? Ah oui, il va menacer l'autre quoi.
What now? I have a message from Malleolus.
Yeah? Who's it from?
The Emperor. He knows Malleolus's real name is Quintius, thanks to Claudia, and demands he withdraw from the election and release Ulpius and Iulia immediately.
Oh! Are you out of your mind, farm boy?
Domitius, that's enough.
What? You're not going to listen to this dolt, are you?
Galerius, all right, I'll withdraw, and Ulpius and Julia are free. I trust our business is concluded?
Yes, that ought to do it. I guess I'll go and tell Ulpius the good news then.
Cours.
Citizen.
Le sous-titre qui veut pas s'en aller.
Good news, Ulpius. Malleolus has agreed to release you and Iulia from your debts.
What? Are you messing with me?
I wouldn't do that. You're both free.
We're free. We're free. Thank you. It seems fortune smiles on us after all. I'd better go and pay this to Julia and leave.
Ils ont des pops. Où y aller? Je me tourne le temps de tirer 3 flèches et ils ont des pops. J'en ai vu un passer par là-bas. Bah lui il est là, ok. Qu'est-ce que tu fais? Tu bouges plus là.
Malleolus just released us and we never have to set foot in that villa again.
What? How?
Galerius
Really? That's incredible.
Je vais attendre encore. Hein. Ouf. Alors, il me semble qu'on pouvait lui dire de réunir tout le monde. Pourquoi j'ai plus le droit d'interagir avec lui là? Qu'est-ce que t'attends?
Yes, sir. I've made a decision to withdraw from the election. I want you to go and inform Equitia.
Sir? Are you under duress, sir?
I just had a change of heart.
But you were on track to be magistrate, sir.
Don't believe a word they tell you.
As you wish, sir.
Et bien, au moment où je vais pouvoir réinteragir avec lui.
Malleolus has decided to withdraw from the election.
Oh, well, that's surprising. But
Le mur invisible. Ah non, c'est bon. Ah, ils sont en train de parler déjà.
Unless any new challengers are nominated by nightfall, Sentius will be re-elected magistrate by default.
Actually, I'd like to nominate myself, if that's all right.
Of course, Galerius, that's your right. Citizens, the election will proceed.
Salve again, friend. Here's the... Sister... Any... Oh. Oh, now. Oh, and... Salve, now.
Ah.
Oh.
Je vais voir sur internet là parce que je... Troisième fin. So many shall suffer, the one that got away, the one that got away. Tu cherches la fin 3. Ouais, mais j'ai pas de... Attends. Ah, ça ressemble à la fin 2, mais en fait, il y a juste une différence et on libère pas Sentia. Ah, mais si, c'est ça, c'est le truc. Bah, c'est le truc que j'essaye de faire, mais j'ai pas le choix. En fait, faut que je redémarre une boucle. Sortir avec presque tout le monde. Ouais, mais faut que je redémarre une boucle, du coup, là.
Citizen.
Bah, écoute. Ah, je me disais, c'est bizarre que ça va pas...
shall suffer for the sins of the one.
Alors, attends. Ouais, c'est ça, hein, c'est réunir tout le monde, normalement, et... C'est ça, ok. T'as la clé des citernes? Ouais, j'ai la clé des citernes. Je suis surpris pour lancer le mode photo. Waouh! Use photo mode, succès obtenu. Je me souvenais que c'était un truc avec le fait de sortir avec plusieurs personnes au lieu de sortir tout seul. Mais j'avais plus la... Et je me souviens que ça avait un lien avec Galerius, mais... Bon, je préférais check vite fait sur internet, ça se fait en 2 secondes et... Voilà. Sauf Sentius...
What? That's a big ask, but I doubt I'll be able...
Je vais le suivre, tiens, on va voir ce qu'il fait.
You, Tantalus, cannot catch the drops of water, and the tree you...
Faut attendre, j'imagine. Hein. Ah, il va gueuler. Il va se mettre là, il va faire « Mesdames et messieurs !» Non? On va retourner ouvrir la citerne du haut. C'est vrai qu'il faut ouvrir les deux.
You are... Juno, you're here. We... How did you know? Wait, did you hear that? He's here. You distract him. Stay right here
Ouais,
and keep
ça
him
c'est...
talking while I look for something I can use.
What did you do with Scintilla? Where is she? So that is how it's going to be. Oh well. So, you discovered my secret. So what? What are you going to do about it? Do you really think you can take on a Decurion with that flimsy little bow? Who? Scintilla? Where is she?
I'm right here, Father.
The many shall suffer for the sins of the one.
Come on! We have to go. The others should be right behind us. Hey! What's happening to you?
Ouais, donc là on aura une fin similaire à l'autre, sauf qu'au lieu d'être juste elle qui va marquer notre nom sur la tablette ou machin, ça va être un petit peu tout le monde qui va nous dire merci, quoi. Mais du coup il n'y aura pas toute la scène du musée. Et bon, on aura tout fait.
Hi there. Gave me a bit of a fright. Well, here I am. Funny you should... I was describing... God... So... I guess... You see... Maybe...
On connaît. Ah, la petite épée. Allez, on se casse.
You're back! But... what? Ah, I see. I thought you might. Well, now you know. I suppose you have questions. You... I see no point in keeping you here. But I have to ask one thing. That you keep this to yourself.
Look! Here comes Al now. Al!
Kinda lost track of time in there. And there was a tablet. Supposedly, the city was destroyed when a woman murdered a tyrant with the help of... well, my new friend here.
Maybe not that crazy.
How could you...
She left a tablet of her own.
Ah, voilà.
I think she meant... Here.
I don't know what became of you.
Alors, j'ai pas moyen de lui dire de Ster. Si. Gilias, j'ignore ce que vous devenez ou si vous lirez un jour ceci. Mais Octavia, Lucretia, Horatius, Equitia et moi-même ne nous vous oublierons jamais, ni ce que vous avez fait pour nous, ni ce que vous avez fait pour nous. Cela nous peine de savoir que nombre de nos amis n'ont pas eu notre chance, dont Ulpius et Galerius, qui ont essayé de sauver Julie, mais qui ne s'en sont pas sortis. Enfin, imaginer comment les choses auraient pu tourner est inutile. Tout ce que nous pouvons faire est d'accepter ce cadeau que vous nous avez offert et essayer de traiter autrui avec la même compassion dont vous avez fait preuve à notre égard. Nous promettons de sauver nos vies, que sauver nos vies n'était pas en vain, Cynthia et autres. Cynthia et autres. Ok.
Sounds like you meant a lot to her. I'd love to hear your... You two look exhausted. Why do...
Sounds good.
And you?
Voilà. On a eu les 4 fins. On a eu les 4 fins, c'est parfait. Hop. Il manque quoi comme succès? 4 succès cachés restants. Ah non, il manque aussi ça. Comment ça ils se sont mariés, comment ça j'ai pas eu la romance entre Galerius et Kitia? Skip le City Tower. Parler à tout. Si... Mentir 10 fois, je l'ai pas fait. Faire le jeu en une loupe. Et terminer avoir la meilleure fin avec le plus petit nombre de loops. Ah oui, parce que pour avoir la meilleure fin, il faut il faut trouver toutes les faut envoyer Galerius pour aider tout le monde, pour éviter que Michel se suicide et donc qu'il soit là au musée et tout et tout. Il faut une autre boucle aussi pour donc là il faut X boucles, peut-être une, peut-être 3, j'en sais rien. Il faut une boucle aussi pour récupérer la couronne et la jeter à Michel derrière. Ah non, il n'y a même pas besoin forcément de la couronne si on le met face à ses propres problèmes. Là. Ouais, c'est un succès que j'aurai jamais, ça. Les 4 succès cachés. Comment je peux les... Comment... Ah ouais, on peut les voir maintenant sur Steam si je vais quelque part là. Tu es Fabia dans le Collapsing Temple, d'accord. Bon, il y a un truc à faire avec le pistolet. Pousser 10 statues en poussant d'autres statues dans... Enfin, tu sais, les statues qui bougent en poussant d'autres statues dans elles. Mourir des abeilles, des piqûres d'abeilles. D'accord. Il y a un succès pour mourir des piqûres d'abeilles dans le temple. C'est rigolo. Bon voilà, c'est The Forgotten City. Bon, je vais faire une petite pause et je vous re... Hop, petite musique.